Hello everybody, I'm going to do another review here, another Harbor Freight purchase. This one is the 2 horsepower dust collector made by Central Machinery. I believe these retail for $249 plus tax, and they had a local sale for $189, and I applied a 20% coupon, and I believe I got this out for somewhere around $150 or so out the door. I was reading some reviews on these earlier today, and then I just checked the website and they were on sale, so I went and picked one up because I figured, I actually saved about $103 on this, which I thought was fair. Now, in some of the reviews I had heard complaints that all the hardware was not with the machine and they had to go out and buy nuts and bolts and things of that nature. I found that mine was all here. In fact, I had exactly the correct number of everything to put this together, so maybe I did get lucky. There was a problem with it out of the box, of course, and I will show that, and it was actually a major quality control problem if you ask me, and I'll get to that in a moment. Now, I have not used it. I cannot make any comments at this stage on its performance. It did come with a 5-micron bag, which, I know a lot of folks out there from my reading are putting on a cartridge type filter. They're finding a retrofit filter to put on there that'll take it down to, I believe, a 0.5 micron, which will capture a lot of the finer dust. For my purpose and the way I'm going to be using this temporarily, I'm just doing some remodeling. I'm actually going to have this sitting outside, so I'm not too concerned about what gets put through the filter bag, because it will be out, outside in the atmosphere rather than in the room with me, providing I can collect all the particulate from it. Now, I will state that, it probably took me an hour to put this together, and everything was fairly easy to do. The instructions were, for the most part adequate. The problem I did have, it's not really a problem, but it's just kind of an issue. When you go to put the casters on, they're kind of difficult to tighten up because the footprint of the caster, there's a bulge around it, and they say to put the nut on the bottom, which is what I did. And you can't turn the nut because one of the flat sides is contacting part of the caster. So you have to kind of tighten them up with a screwdriver, and these fasteners are I don't know what size they are, but I got them on there. It wasn't all that bad. I'm surprised with the casters. They are a rubber. I kind of figured they would be plastic, and they are locking casters. I don't know how friendly it will be to try to get under here to lock them, but it can be done, I guess, if you get them in the right position. All in all, it seemed to go together fairly easily with a couple of caveats, but no big deal there. One of the problems, it's not a problem, but it's real difficult to get this bag on the bottom. It has these, I guess these metal clips here. You can kind of slide the bag in, and it's supposed to hold it. Well, it doesn't really hold it very well. When you're trying to wrestle that clamp around there, it was just kind of difficult to put the bag on. So I just kind of put some pieces of masking tape to hold the bag up, and I was able to get the clamp on without much problem. That is just one note. I'm not real familiar with the machine, but we'll just leave it at that. The upper bag was really not a problem to put on. As you can see, the clamp fishes through this slot in the bag here, and there's one there, and it goes around, and you pick your setting and tighten it up, and it seems to work well. There is a handle that you can put on it in the front to wheel it around. It's a little bit rocky. Not bad, but there is some rocking in it, but it seems to roll fairly easily, so I can't really complain too much about that. So what I am going to do is show what was missing on mine, and there are 2 items that were actually missing on mine. One of them not such a big deal, but you can see this hole right here. Well, that's where this chain, I'm assuming, should be screwed in to hold this cap on the end, and it was not there clearly, or it would be in there, and it did not come with one. So no big deal there. I'll find a screw to put in that hole and call that good. So as you can see, most of my screws are out on this. I might have to grab a screwdriver. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. I have to sit down on the floor and try to get this thing out. Kind of didn't want to clip the video twice. Okay, so now all those screws are removed, and I'll take this off and get a view of the impeller. And let me flip the macro on for this portion. Okay, well, here's an end cap here that they've put on, and this is a left-handed thread, so your impeller can't get off there. It can't physically come off unless somehow this comes out, but I just happened to glance down into the impeller housing, and there we go right there. You see that hole right there? That machined threaded hole? What's it missing? It's missing a set screw. So this can actually rotate around this shaft, and it's supposed to have a set screw right there, and it simply is not in there. So there is a quality control faux pas right there, which they should have caught, and they did not. So I don't have any metric set screws laying around, and I believe this is a 1.25 pitch, 8mm by 8mm in length. And unfortunately the stores are closed right now, so I can't go get one. I am going to start this up briefly to let you hear it run, but I'm not going to use it or do anything until I get this set screw in there. So I would highly recommend, if anybody purchases one of these or has one, take your hose off here and get a flashlight or something, look down in there and just ensure that that set screw is there. You know, that's a critical component on this. This thing's probably moving 3,450 RPMs, and if it gets off there, it's not going to be fun. And somebody actually might get injured. So that is the largest mistake I've ever found on any of my tools. You know, most of the time it's either things are loose or they're not adjusted properly, but I hadn't run into a situation with any of these purchases where something that critical was just missing. So I just wanted to make note of that. And all in all, it seems to be fairly rigid. The reviews kind of state that for the money on this, especially as opposed to another brand, you can't go wrong. And I did get some really good review reading on that, so I went ahead and went this direction. I was looking, you know, for a used dust collector for my purpose, and even the used ones, you know, they're going to want a lot more than what I paid for this brand new. I don't know about the quality of the motor, but again, like I said, I think it's going to turn out all right. And to date, at this moment, I have to make a couple of corrections like I noted, but I have not had to make any modifications. What I intend on doing later is I would like to move this motor up into this area here. Let me turn the macro off. I want to move the motor, turn it sideways up into this area here, and I want to put a separator container down here. You can find some things on that with people modifying these. They're putting in neutral vanes and other things like that. I'm going to use it as intended for now and see how it works out, but I may entertain doing a couple of those modifications. So with that being said, all in all, I think it's alright. I am going to put this back together on the side. I'm going to go ahead and put all my screws back in, even though I don't have that set screw in there, and I'm going to fire this thing up and let you guys hear it. I haven't even heard it yet, so we'll see what we get. I wanted to do a quick shot and review of this accessory kit that I purchased as well, along with the dust collector. The dust collector does not come with, you know, any hoses to hook up to your tools, so I went ahead and purchased this. I was kind of a little bit disappointed. You know, it comes with two sets of hoses, or two hoses, and I believe they're about 5 foot apiece to give you a total of 10. Well, I would have rather have had one 10-foot length, and I could cut it to, you know, whatever I wanted to do. But instead, you know, if I want to use this full 10-foot length, I need to splice it in some way or put a blast gate in it or something like that. But it came with two just takeoffs. I guess you can, you know, make your own dust hoods and put those on there. It came with the dust collector hood here. It came with two plastic blast gates, one Y connector, as well as 4 hose clamps. I have not hooked these up. I have not used them. I just kind of wanted to show what it was all about. You know, obviously these items here, you know, they are what they are. You know, I'm not sure about the quality of the blast gates. The clamps are what they are. The Y is what it is. And the hose. You know, I would have preferred to have a clear hose. This is not a clear hose. And it seems to be fairly smooth on the inside, but it does have some bumps and ridges in it, you know, where the coils kind of come together. But it'll probably be adequate for my purpose. But, you know, I'm sure any die-hard woodworkers might want a little bit of a better quality hose there. But, you know, I'm going to use it and see what I think about it. I just kind of wanted to show a little quick view of that. I believe this was $49, which I thought, you know, was okay with the, you know, the blast gates and everything. It was on sale for $44. Since I bought everything at one time at the checkout, I was only able to apply a 20% coupon to the dust collector itself, but still saved $103 on that. So had to purchase this, so I guess I'm 60 ahead if you want to do the math like that. So I'm going to move back to the dust collector and fire it up, and we'll see what it sounds like. Okay, I'm going to start this dust collector up. Since I don't have that set screw in there, I'm only going to run it for a moment. I'm not concerned about the impeller, you know, coming off the end of the shaft, more so as I would be about it spinning about the shaft. But, you know, it's probably going to sound quite loud on the camera, and of course it's loud in my shop here, but it's not really that unbearable. I was kind of surprised. I don't know if I'm going to need to, you know, seal any of these joints or anything like that. Since I haven't used it, I'm not going to be able to detect any dust until I do, if they are leaking at the joints. So with that being said, I'm going to start it up and we're going to see what it sounds like. I can tell it has a little bit of run out in that impeller. I can feel a little bit of vibration. I don't think it's really anything to be concerned with. And for all I know, you know, once I put that set screw in there, that might change things a bit. All in all, I can't really complain for the cost, and hopefully it's going to serve my purpose. I am not, you know, somebody who's going to use this every day. This is more of a, you know, task-oriented purchase, and it might be used, you know, once a month. But I'm going to test it out and see what I think, and if I have any negatives on it, I'll post another video. Or if I end up doing any modifications later, like adding a separator or something of that nature, then I'll post it, maybe even how I did it and how to build it. So thanks for watching, and good luck.